Welcome to Business Technology Platform Logs. Today we will learn how to access and understand BTP logs. This means you will find where logs are stored and interpret their messages. For example, if your app fails to connect to a database, the logs will show the exact error and timestamp. Mastering this helps you quickly resolve issues and keep applications running smoothly. Logs help us see what's happening in our applications. They are like a detailed diary that records every activity and event in your software. For instance, if a user cannot log in, the logs show each step the system took during their attempt. This visibility is essential for maintaining and troubleshooting your solutions effectively. Think of logs as a diary of your application's activities. This means every action, like a user login or data calculation, is recorded with a timestamp and details. For example, when a user signs in, the log notes the event, time, and whether it succeeded. So, reviewing logs helps you understand exactly what your application did and when. By the end, you will be able to find and read important log information. This means locating system-generated records that track application behavior and identifying key details like errors or performance data. For instance, if your app crashes, you'd check its logs to find the specific error message and timestamp. Mastering this skill is essential for effective troubleshooting and system maintenance. Understanding the critical importance of system logs. Logs show us what went wrong and when. This means logs capture system events with timestamps, so we can pinpoint failures precisely. For example, if a payroll process fails, logs reveal it crashed at 10:15 a.m. due to a data mismatch. This detailed insight is crucial for quick troubleshooting and resolution. They help us understand application behavior. This means logs show exactly what your app is doing step by step, like a diary. For example, if a payment process fails, logs reveal where it stopped and why. So you can quickly identify and fix issues, ensuring your application runs smoothly and reliably. We can see who did what and when. This means logs track user actions with exact timestamps. For example, if a developer changes an application setting, the log records their identity, the change made, and the precise time. This creates a reliable audit trail for accountability and troubleshooting. Logs are our first clue when troubleshooting issues. They record system events like a detailed journal, showing what happened before a problem. For example, if an application crashes, logs reveal the exact error and time it occurred. Always check logs first to quickly identify and resolve root causes. Accessing the SAP Business Technology Platform cockpit. Open your web browser. This means launching any internet application like Chrome or Firefox on your device. For example, just like you open a browser to check your email or read news. This simple step is your starting point to access the powerful BTP cockpit platform. Go to the BTP cockpit URL provided by your instructor. This is the direct web address to access the platform's central management tool. For instance, if you are in a training session, the instructor will share a specific link for you to log in. Simply enter that URL into your browser to begin working. Log in with your credentials. This means using your unique company username and password to securely access the platform. For example, an employee enters their assigned ID and password, just like unlocking their work computer. This simple step verifies your identity and grants you entry to the BTP cockpit. You will see the main cockpit dashboard. This is your central screen showing key metrics and services at a glance. For example, it displays your current cloud resource usage, like memory consumption, similar to a car's dashboard showing fuel levels. Use this overview to quickly assess your BTP environment's status. Locating logs within the SAP Business Technology Platform. In the cockpit, look for the monitoring section. This is the central area where all log data is collected and made accessible. For example, if your application fails to send an email, you'd check here to see the error details. Consistently using this section will help you quickly resolve issues. Click on Logs in the left navigation menu. This means selecting the Logs option from the menu on the left side of your BTP cockpit screen to access log files. For instance, if your app has an error, you navigate here to review the logs. This direct access helps you quickly troubleshoot and resolve issues in your applications. You will see different log types available. This means BTP categorize logs based on their source, like application, security, or system events. For instance, if your app crashes, you'd check the application logs to find the error. Knowing which log type to access streamlines your troubleshooting process. This is your main logging dashboard. It is a central place where all your application and service logs appear. For example, if your app fails to process an order, you'd check here to see the error details. Use this dashboard first whenever you need to investigate any system issues. Two main types of logs in SAP BTP. Application logs, records from your custom applications. This means any logging you program into your own apps to track events, errors, or user actions. For example, an app could log when a user successfully submits a new sales order. These logs are crucial for debugging and monitoring your specific application's health and behavior. System logs, records from BTP platform services. These are automatically generated logs capturing the operational health and activities of BTP itself. For instance, when a platform service scales up due to increased load, that event is recorded. Monitoring these logs is essential for maintaining platform reliability and performance. Application logs show your code's behavior. This means they record events and messages generated by your custom application code during execution, helping you trace its internal operations. For example, if your app processes orders, these logs can confirm when an order is successfully saved to the database. Monitoring these logs is essential for understanding and debugging your application's performance. System logs show platform operations. This means they track the SAP BTP platform's own health and activities, like resource allocation or service restarts. For example, if a new sub-account is created, the system log records this event. Monitoring these logs helps ensure the platform itself runs smoothly and reliably. Step-by-step, accessing application logs. From the Logs dashboard, select Application Logs. This means you navigate to the central logging area and choose the specific logs for your applications. For instance, if you are troubleshooting an order processing issue, you find those logs here. This action directs you precisely to the relevant diagnostic information for your solution. Choose your application from the list. This means you select your specific app from those displayed. For instance, if you manage an online store app, pick that one to view its logs. This action directs you to the relevant logging information for your chosen application. Set the time range you want to review. This means choosing the start and end times for which you want to see logs, so you do not have to look through everything. For example, if your app had an error yesterday, set the time range to just that day. Focusing on a specific period helps you quickly find the relevant log entries. Click Show Logs to see the entries. This action opens the log viewer, displaying all recorded events and messages for your application. For instance, if your app fails to process an order, clicking this reveals error details like payment gateway timeout. Always use this feature to quickly diagnose and resolve issues in your SAP BTP applications. Understanding a log entry. Each log entry has a timestamp. This means every recorded event is marked with the exact date and time it occurred. For example, if an application error happens, the log shows precisely when the system detected it. This precise timing is essential for tracking the sequence of events during troubleshooting. It shows the severity level, info, warning, error. This indicates how critical the event is. For example, an info might log a successful user login, while an error would report a system failure. Understanding these levels helps you quickly identify and address the most important issues in your applications. Contains the actual message text. This is the core content describing what happened, like an error detail or status update. For example, if a user login fails, it might say authentication failed, invalid password. This message text provides the essential information you need to understand and address the event. Includes which component generated the log. This means each log entry identifies the specific software part that created it, such as an application or service. For example, if an authentication error occurs, the log will show whether it came from the login service or the user database. This component information is essential for quickly locating and addressing the source of any issues. Understanding the different severity levels in SAP BTP. Info, normal operation messages. This means the system is running exactly as expected and simply informing you of routine activities. For example, when a user successfully logs into an application, the system generates an info message recording that event. These messages confirm that everything is functioning normally and require no action from you. Warning, something unusual but not critical. This means the system detected an unexpected event that does not stop operations. For example, if a scheduled job completes slightly faster than usual. It is not an error, but you should note it for routine checks. Always monitor these warnings to maintain optimal system performance. Error, something went wrong that needs attention. This means a critical failure occurred that requires immediate intervention to resolve. For example, if a payment processing service fails to connect to the bank, transactions will be blocked. Addressing this error is essential to restore normal system functionality and prevent business disruption. Debug, detailed technical information for troubleshooting. This means it captures in-depth system data to help developers identify and fix issues. For example, when a payment process fails, debug logs might show the exact step where a data format caused an error. This level is essential for diagnosing complex problems efficiently. Filter logs by time to focus on specific time frames. Use the time selector at the top. This lets you pick a specific time period to see only the logs from that duration. For example, to troubleshoot an error from 2 p.m., select that time to filter out all unrelated logs. This makes finding relevant log entries quick and efficient. Choose predefined ranges like last hour or last 24 hours. This means you can quickly select a set time window to view relevant log entries without manually entering dates. For example, if an error occurred recently, select last hour to immediately see all logs from that period. This saves time and helps you focus on the most current system events. Or set custom start and end times. This means you can choose any specific period to view logs from, not just preset options. For example, if an error occurred yesterday between 2 o'clock p.m. and 3 o'clock p.m., you can filter logs to show only that exact 1-hour window. This precise control helps you quickly locate and analyze relevant log entries. This helps focus on relevant time periods. In simple terms, you can select logs from specific hours or days, ignoring unrelated data. For example, if an error occurred yesterday afternoon, filter logs to show only that time frame. This saves time by letting you concentrate on what truly matters. Searching for specific information. Use the search box above the log list. This means you can type keywords directly into that box to find relevant entries quickly instead of scrolling. For example, to locate an error, you could search for timeout. This targeted approach saves time and helps you pinpoint important details efficiently. Type keywords related to your issue. This means entering the main words that describe the problem you are trying to solve. For instance, if you need to reset a user password, you could type password reset user account. Using precise keywords helps the system find the most relevant solutions for you quickly. Search for error codes or specific messages. This means using precise keywords to locate exact errors or notifications in logs or documentation. For instance, if an integration fails, search for HTTP 500 to quickly find related incidents. Mastering this targeted approach saves significant troubleshooting time. Use quotes for exact phrase matching. This means you can search for a specific phrase exactly as it is written. For instance, searching purchase order status will only find results containing that precise phrase in that exact order, ignoring separate mentions of purchase or status. This ensures your search returns highly relevant results for your specific query. Common log patterns to recognize. Startup messages when applications begin. These are initial logs generated as your app boots up, confirming it is launching correctly. For example, when a new SAP Cloud application starts, you might see application MyApp initialized successfully on port 8080. Recognizing these helps you verify your application has started properly before it begins handling user requests. Authentication success or failure entries. These logs show when users or systems try to log in, indicating whether their credentials were correct. For example, a log entry might show a user successfully authenticated to access the employee portal. Monitoring these entries is essential for tracking access and identifying potential security threats. Database connection established or failed. This log indicates whether your application successfully connected to its database or if the connection attempt was unsuccessful. For example, when an application starts, it might log database connection established upon success. Recognizing this quickly tells you if your app can access its data. Regular heartbeat or status update messages. These are automated logs confirming a system or service is running normally, like a steady pulse. For instance, an application might log health check passed every 30 seconds. Recognizing these helps you quickly filter out normal activity and focus on genuine issues. Understanding SAP error codes for effective troubleshooting. Error codes usually start with numbers or specific prefixes. This means each error begins with a recognizable pattern, helping you quickly identify its source or category. For instance, an SAP BTP error might begin with BCCPCF indicating a Cloud Foundry issue. Recognizing these patterns is your first step in efficient troubleshooting. They help identify the exact type of problem. This means error codes pinpoint precisely what went wrong, much like a doctor diagnosing an illness. For example, a 404 code in a web app specifically means a requested page wasn't found, not just a general error. Using these codes, you can quickly find and fix the root cause. Write down error codes when troubleshooting. This means always recording the exact error code shown. For example, if your app fails to start with error code 404, you write 404 down. This specific code helps you or support quickly find the exact solution online. Having the precise error code saves significant time and leads directly to the right fix. Some codes have specific solutions you can look up. This means certain error numbers are linked to documented fixes you can find online. For example, an authentication error might direct you to check your user permissions in the SAP Help portal. Always search for the exact code to find these targeted resolutions quickly. Practice what you have learned. Try accessing logs for a sample application. This means viewing the runtime records of your app to check its health and troubleshoot issues. For example, if your app processes employee timesheets, you can inspect logs to see why a submission failed. Regularly reviewing logs helps you maintain smooth application operations and quickly resolve problems. Practice filtering by different time ranges. This means adjusting your data view to show specific periods like days, weeks, or months. For example, a sales manager could filter a report to display only last quarter's results. Mastering this skill helps you quickly find the most relevant information for your analysis. Search for specific keywords in the logs. This means using your logging tool to find exact words or error codes instead of reading everything. For example, if your app fails, search for connection timeout to quickly locate the issue. This targeted approach saves you significant time during troubleshooting. Identify different severity levels in real logs. This means recognizing log entries as info, warning, error, or fatal to understand system impact. For example, a log entry stating user authentication failed is a warning, while database connection lost is an error. Mastering this helps you prioritize and resolve issues efficiently. You are ready to use BTP logs. You can now find and access BTP logs. This means you can locate and open log files within the platform to see what's happening with your applications. For instance, if your app crashes, you check the logs to identify the error. This capability is essential for effective troubleshooting and maintaining system health. You understand how to read log entries. This means you can interpret each line of a log to see what happened, when, and its severity. For example, if an application fails, you can open its log and find the specific error message and timestamp. This skill is essential for diagnosing and resolving issues quickly in your applications. You can filter and search logs effectively. This means using tools to narrow down log data by criteria like time or error type, so you find relevant entries quickly. For example, if an integration fails, filter by its timestamp and error messages to pinpoint the cause. Mastering this skill saves time and accelerates issue resolution. You are prepared to start troubleshooting with logs. This means you can now use log data to find and fix issues in your applications. For example, if a user reports an error, you can check the logs to see exactly what went wrong and when. With this skill, you are equipped to resolve problems efficiently and keep your systems running smoothly.